is Monique Sebrechts, and I'm sitting here with Kirk Bewley, President of Culinary Farms. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the authentic Mexican chilies that Culinary Farms sells. So Kirk, I'm really interested in how you became involved with the Mexican chilies.
The story is rather simple. We were in dried tomatoes. That's how the company started. And we were getting phone calls for other dried ingredients, and one of them was chilies. And when we first started Culinary Farms, we were actually drying tomatoes down in Mexico. So I had developed some relationships with some different people. I speak enough Spanish to get myself in trouble. And it just seemed like it would be an interesting product for us to expand our line. And that's how we started about 10 years ago.
Now you are very proud of selling these authentic Mexican chilies, aren't you?
I am. We offer what I believe is as good a quality of chilies as there is in the market. The company that we work with in Mexico is an outstanding company. They have HACCP certification, they have ISO 22000 certification. They're a very, very good company, and the quality that we have and the consistency of quality that we have, I believe, is outstanding. And I really love being in the chili business.
Because you say it's all about flavor.
It's fun. It's about flavor, there is history, there is the being involved with Mexico that I thoroughly enjoy, there is the culture around chilies. All of these chilies have a very, very different flavor. As you just mentioned a moment ago, we don't sell heat, we sell flavor.
Just for the sake of the names, can you tell me what the different chilies are on this table and how you pronounce the names?
Absolutely. The pronunciation of chilies is varied and humorous. This chili is an ancho.
Ancho.
This is a chilaca.
Chilaca.
Chile de árbol.
Chile de árbol. So, and with this one you say chile.
Chile de árbol, that is the name.
Okay.
It's oftentimes referred to as just de árbol.
Okay.
This is chipotle.
Not chipotle, but
Chipotle.
Okay.
This one is a guajillo.
Guajillo.
Guajillo. It's a G, it starts with a G, but it's not a guajillo, it's a guajillo.
Okay.
And the last one at the end is a pasilla.
Pasilla, okay.
We do not sell whole pods. The issue with whole pods is there's great variation in whole pods. Culinary Farms is an ingredient company. Again, we sell ingredients that go into other products. So, if you look, for example, at the de árbol, you can see that there's a wide variation of color within these chilies. There's a variation of color within the chilaca. There is a variation of color in the guajillo. So, if you sell chili pods, there is going to be a variation in size, in color, and sometimes in pungency. By selling ground and flakes, we're able to homogenize the color and homogenize the flavor by blending it. And we're very, very careful with our lots so that we have consistent flavor and consistent color across time. Now, chiles are an agricultural product. It changes from year to year. So, for example, chilaca will look very similar from year to year, but it will not be exactly the same from year to year. So therefore, we can sell in the flakes in the ground. We can eliminate the huge variations that you might see in the individual pods, homogenize the color and the flavor and the pungency.
Before we continue, you have a little pile of
Habanero.
habanero.
And many people say habanero, but it is habanero.
Habanero.
and these come from the Yucatan. They are very, very hot chiles. Most people know habanero as a very, very hot chile. There are hotter chiles that actually come from India. But for Mexican chiles, these are the hottest Mexican chiles, and we do sell these as well.
And what is the mildest of these chilies?
That would be the ancho.
And then?
As a range of pungency,
Yeah.
we would have ancho, chilaca, pasilla and guajillo are quite similar in pungency.
Mm-hmm.
Then the chipotle, and the hottest of all of the chiles here you see in the front, the pods you see in the front would be the chile de árbol.
And then the habanero.
Habanero is by far the highest pungency.
So Kirk, now that we know the names, could you tell me a little bit more about how they grow or where they come from?
Because chiles have become more popular in the United States, they've somewhat expanded out from their traditional growing regions, but there definitely are growing regions that are traditional for each one of the chiles. Jalapeno, which we all know, green jalapenos, they grow pretty much all over Mexico. There are different seasons, but they grow pretty much everywhere. Guajillo and ancho are typically come from the state of Zacatecas. As I had mentioned, chile de árbol comes more from the southwest portion of Mexico. Chipotle comes primarily from the state of Chihuahua, although some is produced in the state of Sinaloa. So there are regions, they come from different locations, and they tend to be somewhat specialized, but as I said, it's starting to expand a little bit more just because of the popularity of chiles in the United States.
Is there something about the history of the chilies that you could tell me about?
All chiles come from Central America. They are indigenous to Central America. So all of the chiles that are produced everywhere in the world, whether it's Southeast Asia, China, India, Africa, all of those chiles all started in Central America, and then they were spread out as a result of the Portuguese and the Spanish coming into Central and South America and then spreading around the world. Obviously, there's been hybridization that has gone on over the years, so chiles have changed in form and pungency and color, but all chiles started in Central America. The chiles are used very differently in Mexico than they're used in the United States. Chiles in Mexico are often roasted, pan-roasted, which can remove some of the pungency. They are often used as a chile entero, meaning the whole chile will be put into a marinade or into, while something is cooking. It can be soup, it could be meat, it could be vegetables, and they'll put in the whole chile, and then they'll take it out. Sometimes the chile is cooked with the meal or with whatever the dish that's being produced, and then removed with a stem removed, and then ground up and put back in. So chiles are used very, very, very differently in Mexico, in the culture of Mexican cooking, but in the United States, because of the type of company the Culinary Farms is, that we are an ingredient company, we have two forms, which simplifies the stems and the different colors and the various issues that whole pods would bring. With our chiles, as you see with the flakes, there are no pieces of stem. So with all of our chiles, they are destemmed by hand, one by one. Now, with the ground, the stems are left on the chiles and ground because it is a natural part of the chile. So it is not necessary to remove the stem before it's ground. As you can see, it has nothing to do with the flavor, with the color. It is not a defect, but people perceive a stem to be a defect if they see it within the flakes. So we have always had our flakes completely destemmed.
I do see that you have little seeds in your flakes.
Seeds are a very important part of chile because there is a large part of the oils and the fats that are natural to chiles are in the seed. So if you're cooking with chiles, it's important that the seeds remain a part of whatever you're using. So for example, if you were to take an ancho and remove the seeds, you would have a very different tasting chile. People sometimes think that the seeds are a defect, but the seeds are a critical part of the flavor and pungency of a chile. Something that a lot of people don't know, that the majority of the heat from a chile comes from the vein inside the chile pod where the seeds attach to the flesh. So if you open up a fresh chile and you look and you see where that seed attaches, there's a white or a lighter colored vein in there. That is where the majority of the pungency comes from, not the flesh, not the seeds. So if people sometimes feel that if you remove the seeds, you're removing the pungency, the heat from the chili, but that is not true.
All right.